Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the today's lecture. So, in this lecture, I will be solving GATE question paper of 2021, question number 31, 32, 34 and 35. Okay. So, let us start. The first question is the major product formed in the following reaction. So, they have given a molecule where there is a ketone and there is you can say it is a vinylic alcohol, but vinylic alcohols are not very stable, but it is stable because this oxygen and hydrogen is there. So, hydrogen will form hydrogen bonding with this oxygen, and that is why this is there. Otherwise, it should have immediately tautomerized to a ketonic structure. Okay. And then we are reacting with KNH2 2 equivalents, one equivalent of butyl bromide, and then we are adding dilute aqueous NaOH. So, let us try to see what will be the product form. So, these are the various choices. So, first is 2 equivalents of KNH2. Now, KNH2 is a very powerful base, you have to remember this. K plus is there and NH2 minus is there. So, this minus charge, nitrogen is not as electronegative as oxygen. So, it does not hold its electron very close to itself. It is ready to give the electron, and nitrogen is less electronegative than oxygen. It cannot stabilize negative charge much. So, it wants the proton badly. So, it is a powerful base. Now, if 2 equivalents are there, first thing it will do is it will abstract 2 most acidic proton. So, first you can see this has to be the most acidic proton. Why? Because something is wrong with my mouse, one second. Yeah, you can make out that this is the most acidic proton, this proton oxygen, because any hydrogen which is attached to most electronegative atom will be most acidic. Why? Because oxygen is electronegative, it can stabilize negative charge after proton is lost. So, definitely this is the first one which will be abstract, and you get O minus and K plus. Now, let us see second step what happens. Now, you are having one more KNH2. So, which proton you think will be lost? So, alpha to carbonyl group. So, alpha to carbonyl group is here, alpha to carbonyl group is here, but here there is no proton, you can see. Alpha to carbonyl is this proton. So, this proton will be taken away, will be abstracted. Why? Because if you remove this proton, you get a negative charge on this carbon, and this negative charge, if it is localized on this carbon, it will be very unstable, you understand, because one carbon is having lot of negative charge, it is not at all negative, it will go and abstract another proton wherever it is possible. So, that is not stable. But what happens here, it gets negative charge, and that negative charge is getting stabilized here, and so that oxygen also gets negative charge. So, now negative charge is delocalized between this carbon and this oxygen, and oxygen stabilizes negative charge very well, and therefore, this was the second most acidic proton, and that is how it has been lost. Now, what they are saying next, they are adding butyl bromide. So, you are having this, So, butyl bromide is there. So, remember only one equivalent of butyl bromide is there. So, one of them will react. Which one you think will be more reactive, this atom or this atom? In this atom, oxygen is having negative charge, whereas this atom carbon is having negative charge. Any day negative charge on carbon is more unstable than negative charge on oxygen, because carbon is less electronegative. Electronegative means tendency to attract electron. So, carbon cannot attract electron, it does not stabilize. So, as soon as possible it will try to attack, and therefore, the butyl bromide will be attacked from this center and not from here. Okay. So, what happens? And you can see this also, which is more nucleophilic. Carbon is less electronegative, its lobe is bigger. Oxygen is very electronegative, it holds the electron very close to itself. So, lobe is small. So, because lobe is small, its approach as a nucleophile is much restricted, whereas this is able to spread its lobe and then attack very effectively. Fine. And therefore, this will go and attack, and you are getting this kind of product. See, the last step was very confusing. I thought about it a lot, I looked into various books, I could not find, but definitely it must be from some paper they saw the reaction. So, we will try to understand when such question comes. No, you do not give up, you have put so much hard work, you have done 2 steps, third step is not clear. So, we can look by negating. So, this is product what we have thought, and let us see among choice A, B, C and D which can be removed. And one more thing is the last step you are adding aqueous NaOH. So, water is there. So, negative charge, anything which is charge is not stable, this comes back and this takes proton and you are getting this. So, this much is very clear. After that what happens, we have to find out. So, what is very clear is on the carbon, on the carbonyl carbon, next to it where methyl group is there, one butyl group gets added. That is all we are very sure, and this is what we have got, but obviously in the product as you would have seen this part is not there. So, let us try to eliminate some of them. So, let us look at it. Straight away what came to my mind is when I saw this, C cannot be the answer. Why? In C 2 equivalents of butyl bromide has got added. You see here this part is butyl and this part is butyl, whereas question says very clearly 1 equivalent of butyl bromide. So, I am removing of C. Then let us look at D. Now, D what has happened is you can see you have got here negative charge which we had got, remember alpha was removed and you are having negative charge on oxygen. Oxygen will never attack butyl bromide if carbon is having negative charge, because oxygen can stabilize negative charge. So, very clearly C is also removed. And let us look at A. A what it says, another butyl bromide is attached here. Now, here there was no proton. So, when you put a base, this proton cannot be lost because there is no proton itself. So, how can it happen that butyl can get added to this alpha carbon when this alpha carbon did not have proton? So, mostly answer should be B. Mostly answer should be B. So, what has happened? This is the butyl methyl part and this is the butyl part. 4 carbons have been added. So, I have just turned it around and it is written here. Here basically nothing is there, hydrogen has got added. So, what can happen? Basically what can happen now, if you have carbon dioxide, on alpha carbon to C double bond O, then little bit also if you heat then decarboxylation happens. Beta decarboxylation is very simple under thermal condition. So, something like that must be happening. So, something like that all I can think about is something like Cannizzaro reaction, because if you remember Cannizzaro reaction, let us go back here. Yeah. So, if you remember Cannizzaro reaction, what Cannizzaro reaction does is it oxidizes one equivalent of aldehyde into ketone, into acid, another equivalent of aldehyde into alcohol. It reduces the other equivalent of aldehyde into alcohol. So, mostly it will be some kind of Cannizzaro where this is getting oxidized into acid form and then decarboxylation happens. So, my guess is something like this happen, OH minus goes and attacks here and you get here and this comes back and this goes here, it comes back here, it takes proton and you are getting decarboxylation, basically it goes off, that is CO2 plus H2. So, product is B in all probabilities. Let us move to next molecule and they are asking the major product formed in the following reaction. So, whenever is something like this thermal, first thought should come is pericyclic reaction, and that too very clearly here dienophile is there. So, in pericyclic reaction there is a famous reaction called as Diels-Alder reaction. In Diels-Alder what happens? There is a diene, and then there is a dienophile. Diene means 2 alkene and dienophile is basically simple alkene, because it reacts with diene it is called dienophile, phile means loving. So, but here if you look, this one is dienophile, but where is the diene? Benzene ring will never lose its aromaticity to undergo some this kind of addition reaction, no. Substitution reaction happens very happily because aromaticity is not lost, but this will not happen. So, it is basically 2 reactions which is happening and that is what we will study. So, one will be electrocyclic reaction and another will be Diels-Alder reaction. Okay. So, first thing is electrocyclic opening of the ring under thermal condition. So, basically it is very simple, this bond comes here, sigma bond comes in, this bond comes out, and one sigma bond is given to another one double bond, and this double bond is coming here. So, one sigma bond got converted into one pi bond, and one pi bond is shifted and you have got another pi bond. So, 2 bond led to 2 bonds, 1 sigma 1 pi led to 2 pi bond. Now, we do not know what is the stereochemistry here, phenyl and hydrogen, which side they are facing, that is what we have to make out from the thermal conditions. So, now we have to know first what kind of system is it. Is it 4n system or 4n plus 2 system? Now, remember this, very important. When you have to find out it is 4n system or 4n plus 2 system, you will not look at cyclic system, you will look only at the open system. Okay. Now, open chain system, how many pi electrons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, because it is 4 electrons, it is 4n system, where n is equal to 1. Now, I will tell you how it happens, but remember this is the simplest thing to do. If you remember one of them, you will be able to remember all 4. What I remember is 4n h nu dis, and with this I calculate everything. So, this is also 4n system, right, and 4n thermal. So, now if 4n h nu is dis, that means 4n thermal will be con, and 4n plus 2 it will be opposite. So, because 4n h nu is dis, so 4n plus 2 h nu will be con and 4n plus 2 thermal will be dis. Please remember this. If you remember this, it will be done. Okay. Now, let us look mechanism for this one. Why here it is 4n system, why 4n thermal is con, right. So, we have to make first molecular pi molecular orbital. So, these are the 4 p atomic orbit, p orbitals are there, right, 4 p orbitals are there which are forming pi bond, right. So, 4 p atomic orbitals will combine and they will give you 4 pi molecular orbitals. So, 4 p orbitals they combine and they form 4 pi molecular orbitals, and I am putting it energy wise. So, I am having psi 1, psi 2, psi 3, psi 4. So, obviously, psi 1 is most stable, psi 2 is little less, this is even less, and this is most unstable. And since 4 pi molecular orbitals are formed, 2 will be bonding and 2 will be anti-bonding, right. So, that is why I have written psi 1, psi 2, psi 3 star and psi 4 star, star means anti-bonding, and 4 electrons are there. So, in any atomic orbital or molecular orbital, whichever orbital you take, maximum only 2 electrons can get in. So, 2 electrons will come in the first bonding molecular orbital and then they will come to second bonding molecular orbital. So, you are having 2 bonding molecular orbitals, 2 anti-bonding molecular orbitals, and all the 4 electrons get accumulated in the bonding molecular orbitals, right. And then this is very important, you have to know how to make this orbital psi 1, psi 2, psi 3 and psi 4. First, in psi 1 there will be no nodes, that means this cloud is happily mixing with each other, this cloud is happily mixing with each other, down also this whole cloud is happily mixing with each other, right. So, now how do we do it? Now, how do we do it? Here if all the signs are same, that means they will overlap effectively. So, see here top all are plus, 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 down is minus, 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 minus. So, they overlap effectively and there is 0 node. In psi 2 is less energy. So, basically the overlap is hindered. So, it has 1 node, remember it keeps increasing 1 by 1. So, 0 node in psi 1, psi 2 has 1 node. So, what do? This side overlaps takes place and this side overlap takes place, in between there is no overlap. So, first I put plus and then when the node comes I change the sign. So, it becomes minus and continues, this minus continues. Similarly, here minus minus and then plus plus. When I come to psi 3 they will have 2 nodes. So, first node, second node, symmetrically you have to put node. So, plus, as soon as node comes change the sign. So, minus. So, minus minus they will overlap, plus is separate and this plus is separate. Similarly, when you come to psi 4, it has 3 nodes, 1, 2 and 3. So, everywhere you keep changing the sign so that they do not overlap. It is not very stable, it is not stable, least stable. Okay. So, plus and minus. Now, there is concept called as HOMO and LUMO. HOMO is highest occupied molecular orbital. Okay. Highest occupied means which has highest energy, but it should also be occupied. So, you can see electrons are there in psi 1 and psi 2. So, only these two are HOMO, occupied molecular orbital. Among them, which has higher energy? Psi 2. So, psi 2 is HOMO, and LUMO is lowest unoccupied molecular orbital. So, these are the molecular orbitals, and this was has lower energy, this has higher energy. So, this is LUMO. Now, important thing is, for any pericyclic reaction to happen, that orbital reacts which has highest energy, and also it should have electron. So, under thermal condition, this is the ground state, no excitation happens. So, HOMO is having electron. So, HOMO is what will react, right. So, let us take the HOMO, that is psi 2. So, psi 2 we have taken. So, plus, at the end we are taking plus and minus is there, right, plus, and here also plus and minus is there, you can look for yourself. So, what has happened? And the terminal you are having plus and minus. If you forget, if you are not able to remember all of them, just like you do not know how to make notes, you forget in exam, and you do not want to waste time, that is also good thing. So, psi 1 you will have plus plus in all scenes, even if it is 6 electrons or 4 electrons, 8 electrons, it always follows same rule. So, psi 1 will have plus plus, psi 2 will have plus and minus at the terminal, then again plus plus, then again plus minus. So, we are interested in psi 2 because that is HOMO. So, it is plus and minus, that is what I have taken. Now, when the bonding has to form, plus has to interact with plus or minus has to interact with minus. Minus cannot interact, plus cannot interact with minus, or minus cannot interact with plus. So, if this plus has to meet this plus to make a sigma bond, they both have to rotate only 90 degrees. So, this will rotate in this direction and this will rotate in this direction, so that they both meet. So, what I am saying is this is rotating like this, right. So, when it rotates like this is called as clockwise rotation, correct now? Clock also rotates like this. Similarly, when this rotates like this, so this is also clockwise rotation. So, when you are rotating both of them in same, either clockwise or anti-clockwise, it is called as con rotation or concyclic rotation, right. So, that is why we saw in thermal condition 4NH, 4N is con rotatory, 4N H nu is dis, whereas 4N thermal is con, right. Otherwise, what would happen? Minus can meet minus. So, this has to rotate like this 90 degrees, this has to rotate 90 degrees like this, so that they form bond. So, what is happening here? It is going like this. So, this is anti-clockwise. Similarly, this is also going like this. So, it is again anti-clockwise. So, since both of them are going anti-clockwise, it is called as it is called as con rotation or con rotatory. Now, let us look at the geometry and stereochemistry of the product involved. So, you are having this and this rotates con rotation, right. So, basically sigma bond is there, plus and plus is there. Con rotation means both have to rotate in same direction, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Imagine I am rotating both of them in clockwise. So, this goes like this because this is clockwise, and this also goes like this. Okay? So, just think about the substituents, what happens. Forget the orbital, just rotate this clockwise and this also clockwise. So, this pH is coming out of your paper, it is coming out of your screen, correct, and this H is away from the screen. Similarly, this pH is away from the screen and this H is away from the screen. Now, you are rotating clockwise. So, this is towards you and you are pushing it like this. So, what happens? This both you are pushing, okay, because this whole orbital is moving out. So, pH comes this side, whereas H comes this side. So, you are getting pH this side, H this side, right. And here what you are doing, this also rotating clockwise. Remember, you are rotating like this. So what is happening? You are rotating this like this. So what is towards you is going towards the right side, and what is away from you is going towards the left side. Use your finger, thumb and index finger, and then try to figure out. It is easy, it's very easy, but once you understand, it's very easy. If you don't understand, then it becomes very tough. If you are not able to see like this, just think like this. Right now this benzene ring is on the screen. Push it behind 90 degrees so that this benzene ring goes behind, correct? Then what happens? Then you see that pH is up, pH is up and H is down, correct? They both are towards you, they both are towards you, they both are coming out of the screen. So you can write like this, both of them towards the screen, but I am not able to draw properly. Let me try some other mouse. 1 second. So I am just lifting this molecule like this, so I can just draw like this. So pH is top towards you, H is also towards you but down, okay, and now you are rotating it 90 degrees to the clockwise. So you are rotating like this. So what happens? pH comes this side and H goes this side. Similarly here, H was top, pH is down, so you are rotating like this. So H comes this side and pH comes this side. Think about it. If you are not getting it, think again. Don't move ahead. It will not happen later. You cannot read book and understand. You have to understand right away, and then only move ahead. Pause the video and then think about it. So you are getting this. So very clearly what we are getting is those bulky are on the exo and both H are inside, okay. You can give even E and Z if you want, but not needed right now. And then next what happens is you are reacting with this molecule. This is diene, this is dienophile. So reaction is very simple. This pi bond comes here, pi bond comes here, this pi bond moves here, and this pi bond comes here. So one pi bond is formed and 2 sigma bond is formed at the cost of 3 pi bonds. So 3 pi bond, 3 bond is giving you 3 bond, 3 pi bond gave you 2 sigma and 1 pi bond. So this is very simple mechanism. Think about it. If you are not getting, think again. Basically this bond is coming here, pi bond is coming here, and this pi bond migrated here in between, so that you are getting pi bond here, and then this pi bond is attacking here, right, and you are getting this. Now we are not sure about stereochemistry. That is what they are asking. That's where they want to know how good you are at organic chemistry, because arrows anybody can make out, Stereochemistry is what determines how good is your organic chemistry. So basically this is favored by, this is governed by what is called as endo rule. It is called as endo rule. So endo product is favored kinetically. What do I mean by it? So this COET is there, it looks very bulky, right? If bulky part is towards the benzenic inside part, which looks unstable, that is called as endo. So basically you understand this, when reaction has to happen, this pi bond will come just below it, so that this bond interacts with this bond and this bond interacts with this bond. Now if COET is this side, it is interacting with benzene, thermodynamically it does not look favorable, right? This is called as endo approach. This is called as endo approach. And what will be exo approach? Exo approach will be this COET is right side, this COET is toward the right side. Then what happens? Now only the lighter, this H, which is very small, is interacting with the bulky part. So this looks thermodynamically favorable, but this is not the case. Endo approach is favored. How? We will have to understand. Okay, how we have to understand. So basically what it says is, as we have talked, that this pi bond has to interact with this pi bond has to interact with this. Also, because it is COOET, because this is COET, this is carbonyl group, this also has p orbital. Now p orbital can interact with this bond and this bond. It can interact even with the benzene ring. These p orbitals are there. So the pi orbitals, they interact among themselves, and whenever interaction is there, some amount of stability is gained, and therefore this approach is kinetically favored, means intermediate is favored. And then what happens is, this part is going below. The reaction is like this. If this molecule is top, this molecule is coming from behind the board, behind the screen. So if you look at product, what do you see? See this carbon, H is coming out, pH is behind, right? Here again H is coming out, pH is behind, and this is approaching like this. So what happens? Here H is coming out and COMe is behind. So basically what we are seeing is, whatever is coming front will be in one plane, whatever is coming behind will be in one plane. Basically what we will do is, whatever is coming front, okay, towards the right side, we will put them towards the viewer. What is going behind will write away from the viewer. You can do other round also, does not matter, but basically whichever is coming front will be in same plane, whichever is going behind is in the same plane. So remember, this H is front, pH is behind, very clearly you can see. Here also H is front, pH is behind, here also H is front, COM is behind. So all the three H will come one plane toward the viewer, and all these things, COMe, this pH and this pH will go away from the viewer, and we will be drawing them away from the viewer, right? So you are writing like this. So very clearly COMe, pH and pH is away from the viewer. So your answer is P, right? This is the product, you can look back into it. Let's move to next question. Next question says, in the following reaction sequence, the major product P and Q are. So this is famous Negishi reaction, for which Negishi got Nobel Prize also. He shared Nobel Prize with quite a few, right? So look at this molecule, we will go step by step. First thing is secondary butyl lithium. So N-butyl lithium, secondary butyl lithium, tertiary butyl lithium, all these lithiums, no, when alkyl lithiums are there, very powerful base, because from alkane you have removed proton, so very stable it was. So now if you remove proton, that negative charge is extraordinarily unstable, because the acid was very weak. So the base is very strong base, it will remove proton, and then we will see what happens. So let's go down. Okay. So here you are having secondary butyl lithium, it will take away proton, which is the most acidic proton. Okay, it's tough to make out, it's tough to take out this even proton from benzene, but this is a special thing which is called as there is a word for it, I am not able to recollect. Let me, yeah, it is called as orthometallation. So basically what happens, here secondary butyl is there, this secondary butyl will take away this proton, so that carbon gets negative charge, and then carbon forms a bond with lithium, and you will get lithium in ortho product. It removes proton, you get negative charge, attacks, you get lithium in ortho position. Now lithium forms, because on the ortho position here just next to it there is oxygen. So oxygen is having lone pair of electron, lithium is highly polarized, highly positively polarized. So they form bond, they form electrostatic interaction. So you know, whenever bonding is there, always it is preferred, because whenever bonding is there, energy is released, system becomes stable, and therefore this was the most acidic proton which is lost, and you are getting this. So this orthometallation is important thing you have to remember. Whenever you find a ether on benzene ring, remember, if you are able to put a metal ortho to it, it will be stabilized. So if you put a base like N-butyl lithium or secondary butyl lithium, either of them, then you get lithium and ortho position, because it forms a. Now this is very reactive. You are not you don't know how to react, like it's tough to control. So, immediately what we do is we add ZnCl2. With ZnCl2 what we do is we make this carbon little soft. Its reaction, it's more easy to control the reaction. So, it's transmetallation which is happening. So, this carbon lithium bond is goes and attacks zinc, and this Cl leaves, and you are getting zinc here, right. Now, still it is zinc. Any metal by definition is electropositive. Electropositive means it gives electron and gets positive charge. So, zinc gives electron, gets positive charge, carbon gets electron, gets negative charge, clear. So, zinc gets positive charge and carbon gets negative charge. I hope I am making sense. I hope I am making sense. So, now you are getting this product. This was your P. Now, you are reacting with metabromopyridine, or rather I should say 3-bromopyridine, because there is no orthometa right now. 3-bromopyridine, and you are reacting with PDPPS 4 times, and you are getting Q. This is famous Nageshi reaction. So, all these reactions now goes through basically same mechanism. So, you have alkyl halide and you have alkyl zinc halide. So, zinc is having positive, R prime is having negative, very clear, no doubt about it, and this halide is having negative, R is having positive. Why? Because halogens by definition is electronegative. It pulls the electron towards itself. So, negative goes and forms bond with positive, and you get this product, and this will go and form bond with this, and you get ZnX2 comes out. Okay. So, let us look at the mechanism. So, very simple, this is PPS3 4 times. So, this is PD0, very unreactive. Why it is unreactive? Because 18 electrons are there in this. So, first step is always 2 PPS3 is lost. Okay. So, it becomes 14 electrons, and then this goes and attacks here, so that you get 16 electrons and you get this. This is oxidative addition, because from 14 it became 16 electrons, right. And PD became, I should not say that, yeah, from PD0 it becomes PD2 plus, that is why it is oxidative, and there is addition, right, and there is addition, and then this comes in, and then again PPS3 will be again Br will be lost, this time Br will be lost, and then ZnClBr is basically which comes out, ZnX2, that is what we said. So, here X1 X is Cl, 1 is Br, and then this addition takes place, and then reductive elimination, this basically goes and attacks of here, right, and PDPPS3 twice is again lost. This is PD2, it will again undergo reaction, sorry, it is again PD0, but now electrons are reduced from 18 electrons, it has become 14 electrons. So, it is reactive, still it is PD0, right, and reaction goes on. So, it is as simple as that. So, your answer is Q. See, organometallics mechanism is tough, please practice quite a few times, right. So, the answer was B. Now, the last question, it says, among the following, the compound which can be prepared by nucleophilic substitution reaction. So, nucleophilic substitution reaction, you know, is SN1 or SN2 reactions. So, before we see each of them, let us little bit talk about nucleophilic substitution reaction. So, here there is a nucleophile. So, if it is SN2 reaction, what happens? Nucleophile attacks the carbon on which leaving group is there. So, generally leaving group is electronegative, so it pulls the electron. So, you are having positive polarity already, and therefore, on the positive polarity nucleophile with its negative charge or negative polarity attacks here, and this leaving group leaves, and you get this. So, this is SN2 reaction. SN1 leaving group would first leave, and you get a carbocation, and then what happens in SN1 is first leaving group leaves, okay, and you get a carbocation, you get positive charge, and then nucleophile goes and attacks and forms the bond. So, that is SN1 reaction. So, let us look what all can happen. So, they have asked for this azide, right. Azide is a powerful nucleophile, NaN3 is one of the very powerful nucleophiles. So for this, what should be there? Should be some like chlorobenzene. So halogen is there on a benzene ring, and you expect this to go on attack. Now this is almost impossible. Why? You understand, this benzene ring has 6 pi electrons. See, 6 p orbitals are there, all of them are having one electron. So on the both side of the ring, top and bottom, lot of electron cloud is there, highly negative polarized. So for approach of nucleophile also basically has Nu minus negative. So negative to approach another negative is very, very tough, and that too on the planar carbon, no, it's very, very tough. So if you are imagining this will go on attack here, it's not possible, this will not happen. Remember, electrophilic substitution happens happily, readily in benzene ring, but nucleophilic substitutions are very, very, very tough, very, very rare on benzene ring, unless electron withdrawing groups are there in benzene ring. Okay, so this will not happen for sure. Let us look at this molecule. So whenever you see something with cyclohexane, no, immediately make chair conformation. So you look here, this OS is towards the viewer, this OS is away from the viewer. So if it is towards the viewer, make it above the plane, away from the viewer, make it below the plane. So here I am making, see, on this carbon you are having this axial bond, equatorial bond. So make equatorial, so you can see equatorial is below the plane, axial is above the plane. So that's why OS is above the plane, and here OS is below the plane. Here OSC is below the plane. Okay, and it can easily rather it will immediately flip towards the other form. So this flips means this comes down, this goes up, and in that case what happens is, see here, when you are flipping, you are pushing this down. So when you are pushing it down, this comes here, and this one goes up, so this comes here. Now what happens is, when you flip, the axial becomes equatorial, and this axial also becomes again equatorial, right? And this equatorial became axial, and this equatorial again became axial. So now here what was happening, both OSC was above the plane. This OSC is above the plane, sorry, this OSC is above the plane and this OSC is below the plane. So here OSC is above the plane, now it has come from axial to equatorial, but still it is above the plane, and here OSC is below the plane, it remains below the plane though axial has become equatorial. Now for the reaction to happen, so for the nucleophilic substitution, so one of the AC should not have been there, it would have been some leaving group. So let that leaving group be X. So immediately it would have flipped and you would have got this form. Now here SN2 also might have been possible, but very important, when OSC is there, OSC does wonderful, most wonderful neighboring group participation. It gives anchimeric assistance, it helps in removal of this X, it facilitates nucleophilic substitution reaction. Let me show you, my whole PhD was about this itself. Okay, so this double bond O will go on attack here, and this comes here, and you get this kind of intermediate, you get positive charge, and then even a weak nucleophile, you understand, OSC minus is a quite weak nucleophile, but even a weak nucleophile like OSC minus will be able to undergo SN2 reaction. Okay, will act as a nucleophile. Why is OSC minus weak nucleophile? Let's understand. You are having O, C double bond O, CH3, and you are having negative charge, but now negative charge is stabilized like that. So what happens? This oxygen is having just minus half charge. If it is having minus 1 charge, it will immediately want to react, but if it is having minus half, it is not so reactive. So it is a very weak nucleophile. So if this OSC would not have been there, no, this reaction would have been very tough, that OAC minus will go and attack and remove a halide. This would have been very, very tough. But now because of this NGP, neighboring group participation or anchimeric assistance due to NGP, this is very, very easy, and definitely this will undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction. Now this one, you see this structure, so tough it is. Imagine if this has to form from Br has to form here. That means one leaving group would have been here, some iode or some group must have been here, and this Cl minus Br minus goes and attacks here. Br minus goes and attacks here, so that this is formed. Do you think it is possible? I don't think so. Okay, and let us think in both ways, SN1 and SN2. If SN1 has to happen, imagine if some leaving group was there. If this leaving group leaves here, you should get a positive charge here, right? Now positive charge on which carbon is very, very tough due to the famous rule called as Brett's rule. Why? Because when a leaving group leaves, you get a carbocation. What is hybridization of carbocation? sp2 hybridized. What is the shape? Trigonal planar. Now when it is on bridge, it is already distorted, lot of stress is there. It cannot become trigonal planar, and therefore, if you are thinking one leaving group will leave and you get a carbocation, you are mistaken, this will not happen. So SN1 reaction is definitely ruled out. SN2 reaction is also ruled out. Why? Because some leaving group is there, okay, it is on tertiary carbon. So on the tertiary carbon, SN2 reactions are highly disfavored. Why it is highly disfavored? Because it is very bulky. For the bulky group to attack here, it is very, very tough. Okay, for the bulky group to attack here, it is very, very tough. Sorry, for the nucleophile to attack on the bulky centered tertiary butyls, very, very tough. SN2 reaction is most favored in primary alkyl halide, then secondary, tertiary almost not possible. So this will not happen. Final reaction is this one, final molecule is this one. So this SH is there. So SH is the nucleophile, it's quite a powerful nucleophile. So you must be having some leaving group, and then SH minus has to attack, and then this leaves. So as soon as you see, you will think, okay, on benzene ring, we know nucleophilic substitution does not happen. So this should not happen. That's what should be your first thought. But that's not right. What has happened is, here on the ortho position and para position, you have nitro group. They both are electron withdrawing nature, both by minus I and minus R effect, and minus R effect will happen only in ortho and para position. So they are very powerful withdrawing groups. So they remove the electron density from here, and therefore negative charge nucleophile can approach the negative polarized ring, and this reaction can happen. Sulfur with negative charge is a very strong nucleophile. Okay, it is more powerful nucleophile than OH minus. Why? Because oxygen is more electronegative than sulfur, so its lobe is small, whereas sulfur is much bigger. Okay, because sulfur is less electronegative, so lobe is very big. So it's like pickpocketing. If somebody's hand is small, it cannot pickpocket well, but sulfur has a long hand, so it can do SN2 reaction much faster, and therefore this reaction will definitely happen because 2 NO2s are there. And therefore I have shown all this. Why NO2 is withdrawing group? You can see here, you get out here, say this double bond on the ring comes on the nitro, conjugates, and you are getting positive charge here. So now it's quite positive polarized, so nucleophile can attack, and then this comes here, and this pi bond comes here, you are getting this. So again positive polarized, positive charge is there. So both nitro takes active part in removing the ring electron density from the ring by minus R effect. Minus R effect is very powerful, much powerful than inductive effect. Last one is this. So some X, some bromide must have been there, I minus is there, it has to attack here. Now this is very tough. Why? Because on the allylic position, not allylic, sorry, allylic easily it can happen. On the vinylic position, substitution does not happen. Remember, on the vinylic position or on the benzene ring also, where double bond is there, where carbon is sp2 hybridized, such nucleophilic substitution does not happen. When it is sp3 hybridized, very happily nucleophilic substitution happens. But if carbon is sp2 hybridized, double bond is there, does not happen. Why? Basically, they get a double bond character. This pi bond is there, and this X is there. X has a lone pair of electron. So this comes here, and this comes here. So what happens? You are getting double bond character. So double bond is any day stronger than single bond. Now you think this will break? It's not easy. So this will not happen. Sorry, I was telling last molecule from a long time. And last is this molecule definitely, because I have written also here last. So last molecule is this. So OMe, how it will happen? You have some bromide, bromobenzyl bromide, and then you react with OMe minus. Very, very favorable reaction. It will immediately happen, both by SN1 and SN2. Imagine if you have weak nucleophile, something like methanol. So methanol is weak nucleophile. It is no hurry. It is very stable. It is no hurry to go and attack on this center. You appreciate my point? If it was powerful nucleophile, then it would have been SN2, because it is unstable. Powerful nucleophile is unstable, it will immediately go and attack. But methanol is very stable, so weak nucleophile, it will wait. What it will wait for? It will wait for X minus to leave. So when X minus leaves, you get a positive charge. Now this is called as benzyl carbocation. Benzyl means on benzene. Next there is CH2. On the CH2 there is positive charge, so you can see through resonance this is getting stabilized. It comes here and you get a positive charge, and then this moves, you keep rotating and you get positive charge. So positive charge is not localized over one carbon, but spread all throughout the benzene ring. So highly delocalized, quite stable, and then it easily forms, and then methanol can go and attack, because methanol is no hurry to attack. It attacks here and you get OMe. Second, SN2 reaction is also highly favored. Why? Because I drew it like that, but actually I should have drawn anti-bonding molecular orbital, something like this. Bonding side I should draw small, and anti-bonding I should draw bigger. But generally we show bond like that, so I just show like that. Basically, benzene has p orbital, and this p orbital and this anti-bonding pi orbital, they overlap. And when they overlap, this transition state is very, very stabilized, and therefore leaving group, this becomes a wonderful leaving group, stabilizes, and therefore nucleophile attacks. Nucleophile is highly favored. SN2 reaction is highly favored on benzylic and allylic position. Remember this. What is allylic position? Allylic position is this. Allylic position is this. Okay. So this carbon is allylic position. So here also SN2 reaction is very, very favored, because same, because there is a anti-bonding molecular orbital between this. Anti-bonding is which is vacant, bonding is what is forming bond, anti-bonding is where attack will happen. So this anti-bonding interacts with this p orbital, and therefore it is stabilized, and thus nucleophilic attack is very, very favored. So the answer is C, 2, 4 and 6. Thank you very much. We'll stop here. Okay.